right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of We Create Music. I am your host, B. Vaughn, and today we have Jeff Blackwell, Senior Advisor and Event Master with Dynamic Producer. Jeff, my dude, welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir. Thank you,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Event master.
Event Master. Hey, we have fun on We Create Music. So if you would start us off, just talk to our audience about how you got started in this whole music world.
Oh, that's an interesting way to say that. I guess interesting. The company actually I worked for, Dynamic Producer, I was an intern with that company, but before I became an intern, it's membership based. Mm-hmm. And I'm originally from Ohio, so of course, we're here in Atlanta. And in Ohio, I was working with a lot of different things. I was doing production, DJing, because when you're coming up in the music industry, which a lot of people don't tell you, is you don't have to do everything.
Yeah, you don't.
I didn't know that. So when you're looking at people like Dr. Dre and we wanted to be like the next Dr. Dre, I didn't know I didn't have to be the engineer, the arranger, the producer, the DJ, the songwriter. I didn't know I had to do all that. So when I went to school, I learned everything. So when we were in the lab, we did everything. Nobody told me that. I learned a lesson that if somebody don't tell you it's hard, you don't know it's hard. So that was what happened. So in Cincinnati, I was DJing, I was producing, I was rapping, I was breakdancing, I was doing all these different things. So when I heard about Dynamic Producer, they were looking for interns. And they were like, well, what can you bring to the table? And I just started throwing out all these different things. They was like, what? Like, you do all that? I was like, I thought it was normal. I didn't know you didn't have to do all those different things. So, that's kind of how I got into working with them because in Ohio, there wasn't a lot of opportunities.
Yeah.
So you have a lot of people that are really, really dope in producing and songwriting, MCing. Of course, High Tech is from there. But you have to leave and go to other areas. So I would go to a lot of conferences and conventions, which is how I wound up getting a Dynamic Producer. Because they were doing a lot of conventions here in Atlanta, LA, and New York. So me and my partner would go to the conferences and conventions. They were having beat battles. And that's when I got the hunger to say, okay, not just producing, but I can take some people's heads off. So, when I went back home, there was a friend of mine who was doing battles. Guy was by the name of Contracts. He was doing a thing called the Beat Lounge Beat Battle. So I started kind of working with them a little bit. But at the same time, I was interning with Dynamic Producer. So I was kind of bringing things I knew from Dynamic Producer over to the Beat Lounge. And, there was a big synergy of people there in Ohio. And long story short, they liked my work down here, and they threw out some things and said, well, why don't you come down from Ohio and come and work with us down here in Atlanta,
Nice.
What would it take? And they threw out a figure, and I was like, bet.
I need somebody to throw me one of them figures. Yeah. So for those that may not know, can you talk a little bit about what Dynamic Producer is and what you do as an organization?
Dynamic Producer is a company that's designed to help producers, songwriters, and artists with their business and their branding. To teach them how to navigate the business, how to become a conversation in the room. Most producers, songwriters, and people, we tend to make the music, and then we go, what do I do now? And we're in a day and age where everything is actually easier. Even how your show is about. Your show is an avenue for people to see you via video, Instagram, Twitter, whatever. There was a time when we were coming up, if you remember, like the video that you're doing right now. In order to do videos, you had to spend, $10,000-$20-something thousand to do a video as an independent artist. In order to do what we now can do on our phones, you had to put out what was called demo tapes.
Yeah.
You had to go to the studio and pay for a demo tape to take to somebody to listen to go back in and re-record everything all over again.
That's true, though.
So it's like, all that stuff is like nonsense now because everything now is one shot. There's no excuse not to have the best of the best. But as technology got better, we've gotten worse because we have all these things in front of us. So most people don't know what to do because they have everything in front of them at their disposal. So our thing is to teach you how to navigate with those things that are in front of you, how to utilize those. So if you're in the room with, let's say like we were talking about iStandard or Dynamic Producer or how there's the Revoke conferences going on here. What do I take with me? What do I say? How do I walk? How do I talk? How do I present myself? It goes back to the old days of Motown. They taught you how to be an artist.
They sure did.
They gave you the forks. They gave you the plates. They taught you how to present, how to do an interview, how to sit, how to represent when you wouldn't have these Antonio, whatever guys, problems with the sports situations going on because you represent us. So our thing is to teach you how to represent yourself as a brand when you're walking, that you're always on deck. If you're in the grocery store, you're at work. If you're driving your car, you're at work. Yeah. Wherever you go, you are that brand and you have to represent that at all times. And we teach people how to navigate like that.
That's what's up. Yeah, that's kind of like the corporate model that organizations use in corporate America. We always say, you should be dressing and performing and acting for the next job. Right. And so wherever you are interviewing. Every conversation, every meeting, every interaction is an interview, right? It's like an interview that can help propel you to the next level. So it's great to hear that there is an organization that's out there, Dynamic Producer, that is offering skills that can help producers go to that next level. Because a lot of people don't, right? A lot of people just like, hey, cool, I'm really good at making beats. But I don't know how to brand or market or logo or website. They figure they jump on Instagram or Twitter and that's their branding.
Well, one of the things too is that there's also that fear factor. See, things are easy. So I'll give you a good example. Like when we were coming up back in the day, when you made your music, you would have to go to the record labels and we would sit in the record label offices with our CDs and our tapes, waiting to see somebody come through. Say, hey, listen to my demo. Listen to my, that's where that whole song came from De La Soul. Get through. My time.
That's right.
Your name and your number, and I'll get back to you. That song, ring, ring. It was like we used to give our demo tapes out, and we just hope to see somebody. Like how like Bone Thugs, how they met, easy and got their break. How Boyz II Men sung.
I know I was about to say Boyz II Men.
Yeah. For Michael Bivins, you did things like that. Now you can send an email to somebody. You can find somebody's, and people have gotten lazy hiding behind their computers and feel that I can do everything behind their computers. But there's still old school rules with new school tools. You still got to go out here to these streets. You still got to go to these conferences. You still got to go to LA, New York, and Atlanta to build your connections. People think, well, I can just hide behind a computer and just upload stuff all day. Yeah, you can, but that's just one small thing. It's a tool. Right. There's other things you have to do, and that's what we teach them. Like a lot of folks don't know, I used to make a lot of money selling beats back in the day. I used to be on mp3.com before people were doing SoundClick, before people were doing those, your BeatStars and things like that, or your Airbits. We were selling beats off of mp3.com. Folks don't know that if you were a producer, you knew what to do back then. You could make a lot of money.
mp3.com was the father of all of these online beat stores today. MP3 sure was.
But at the same time, I made money on that, but I was still in the streets. I was still DJing. I was still going to conferences. And you had to build relationships. What most folks don't know is that everybody wants to be. I make my beat. I should be in the studio with Jay-Z tomorrow.
Right. That is the mentality, though.
That's the mentality, because we're in a microwave society. And I hate to say it, but it goes back to that book, I don't know if you ever read it, called The McDonaldization of Society. McDonaldization of society has put us in what we call a self-service mentality. What happened is McDonald's created the drive-thru. And when they created the drive-thru, it changed the whole mentality of how we look at stuff.
It was a disruptor.
Well, most people would have to come home and cook dinner.
Yeah.
Now I can drive through.
Now you can drive through,
get a bag,
get a food, feed your kids,
and go home. You know what I'm saying? Feed your kids. But what happened after that was the bank said, "Oh, you don't have to come to the bank anymore. We'll create the ATM. We'll create the drive-through for the bank." Then the gas stations used to be full service. Remember back in the day when you have a guy that would check your spark plugs and your oil and everything. Cars didn't break down back then because you had a guy come out. They said, "Well, no need of you coming in the store. Go ahead and get your own gas.
Go ahead and clean your own windows. Get your own air, right?" So
because of that, we got to a point where we started making everything instant, quick. I gotta have it fast. Which is why now how the CDs and the records have went away to now you can download everything on your phone. Like Like, you can't tell nobody what the back of a CD looks like anymore, like who the producers or songwriters are anymore, because everything now is digital, which is why so many of us are fighting to get that information added on these streaming
Yeah, the
services.
linear notes was mad important.
Boy, especially if you was a person that dug in the crate and sample flipped.
You need to have them produce. I mean, because back in the day, that's what we would look at. We would look at, well, I mean, you know, we grew up in a generation of tape was still like the main thing.
Yes.
And we would look on the tape and go, okay, who is the producer, engineer? Okay, who created the artwork? I mean, it had all the things.
In fact, we got to the point that we knew who the mastering. How many of us knew who Bernie Grumman was? We never even seen Bernie Grumman. We was like, dang, Bernie was on everybody's album. Everybody's album. Nobody knew who he was. It's like, God. And then I didn't realize that mastering, you couldn't even go to school for mastering. Think about that. You can go to school for mixing.
You can go to school for pretty much anything now.
But you can't go to school for mastering. There's no mastering schools. Look it up. That's funny.
Check it out.
You know, I'll tell you why. It's a secret society of witches. Like, you literally, no, dead serious. Like, if you don't study up under somebody, you won't know how to do it.
Wow. And I know some mastering engineers. I'm gonna ask them too. I'm gonna call y'all today, tomorrow. Whenever this interview airs, I'm gonna call y'all and ask y'all part of this secret organization.
There's an SAE. You know what I'm saying? There's an audio school, but you ain't never seen a mastering school.
Right.
Ain't that
the secret organization of mastering engineers. Right. Yeah. Some. Right.
Yes, indeed. I told you I was gonna mess with you.
Excuse me. Hey, that's what's up. 'Cause that's what we do. That's what we do here. We bring information, education, and we just have a really good time.
Most definitely.
As far as what we do. So, I want to go back to your beginnings. So you felt like, and nobody told you, that you don't have to be the person to do everything.
Mm-hmm.
But today, people have that mentality. They want to do, well, I don't want to say everybody, but a lot of people are now starting to take on more roles than what they used to. So back in the day, I mean, you think about rappers when they came out. Rappers and engineer. Right. Maybe I don't know, because I wasn't in the studio with all of these rappers and singers. But from what I know, they didn't really engineer. I don't know if Method Man engineered for Wu-Tang Clan. I don't know if Jay-Z really engineered, or Nas, or, I mean, they rapped, singers sang. But today you got people who are rappers, engineers, producers, singers, songwriters, managers, booking agents, their own lawyer, everything. Like, so how does that kind of impact the way that music is created today and the quality of that music today?
Actually, it's funny that you say that, because a lot of people you named actually did study. And the only reason I found that out because I started doing work with a lot of people.
I don't know everything, you know what I'm saying?
And because like I was, I do a lot of stuff with X-Clan, and I was doing stuff with Brother Jay, and he was one breaking that down with me one day, and because I didn't know that he went to school for engineering. And he was breaking down how many of those guys in New York, that's why they sound the way they do on the mics, because they were very deep as far as knowing how their vocals would come through on the mics. So even though, remember I said, nobody told you didn't have to know everything, they wanted to be good at what they did, but they also wanted to be good at the way they projected. So the thing that you're talking about, people taking on other things, it's good that everybody knows it. It's good. You don't have to know everything, but understand it.
Right.
It makes you be able to put together a team and be able to delegate stuff if you understand it. If you don't understand it, that's where the problem comes in. So I didn't have to do everything, but once I realized I didn't have to do everything, now I can delegate different people to do different things. Because I went to school for engineering, but I'm a producer. So I don't have to engineer. I can talk to that engineer because they're my hands, but they're taking what's out of my head and making it come out sonically. So that's the same thing now with the technology and the things that are out there, because people are doing their own videos. They're doing, you know, a lot of their own marketing and stuff like this. But if you understand it and you teach a team to work it for you and work it with you, then it all makes sense. And that's what a lot of things, what people are doing now, that's making them very successful, is they're putting together those real good teams because they've studied it and they're teaching it to other people to be a part of that team and make it bigger. I mean, that was why Wu-Tang worked so well, because they were all these dope MCs, but they also knew how to navigate as one, but also it could break off like Voltron. And they would be just as good apart. I mean, because think about it.
Yeah, I mean that's true.
When you got 9 guys that can all rap, that could come together as one team and then go separate ways and all have successful careers. That's insanity. You can't even do that now. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's just insanity.
Well, I don't know if there's groups as big as Wu-Tang that even exist today that have that caliber of talent and the ability to be successful in multiple different arenas.
Yeah, the thing is, the industry. Well, that's the only thing about the industry has changed is they don't build groups anymore.
Man, there's a lot of things they don't do in the industry no more.
I mean, because like the last group, you would think like, what was the last 4-man group you ever saw put together of singers or rappers? You know what I'm saying? There isn't one. I can't even think of one. Yeah, I can't think of the last 4-man group. Or
well, not 4, 3 I can, which would have been TGT.
Okay. Yeah.
But they were already established artists in the industry, and they just came together to create this group. Yeah. But as far as one being created and put together, June's Diary.
Okay.
They're relatively, I don't want to say new, but
or what's the name? The only one that I saw last night was I forgot how you pronounce him. Wayun, I think that's the name. The sons of the guy from Boys and Men. Yeah, it's his 4 boys. Yeah. Those are like the last.
Yeah, Wanye's kids.
Wanye. Yeah, that's what they're the last ones that I've seen.
Yep.
And I was like, outside of that, I hadn't really seen to me like that.
No, because the era of groups pretty much dead. I mean, it's pretty much over. Back in the 90s, we had groups. Man, you go turn on the TV and there's groups everywhere. But groups today, I think it's more individualized.
Well, here's the interesting thing. People have to be prepared too. And I'm going to tell you about this because if you're also a producer, songwriter, artist, you have to watch what's going on. Mm-hmm. Every 10 years, there's a resurgence.
Oh, there's always a resurgence.
So, you know, as soon as I heard Bruno Mars come out with that remake that kind of sounded like Living Color beat, I said, okay, people are in trouble. Then I went to the music stores and I started seeing that they were adding MIDI back to the keyboards, and they were making hybrid boards and putting the MPCs back out, the standalones. I said, uh-oh, it's about to be a change in a minute. I said, folks better get ready. Yep. So what's going to wind up happening is there's going to be another hybrid. There's going to be a hybrid of groups coming back that's going to have a whole new sound and style. And if people aren't ready when it happens, it's going to be like what happened in the 90s. It was all these dope groups that had the styles of the 50s, but were using 90s techniques. You know, and it was just like back to back.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, Jodeci, Boys Man Jade, you know, all these folks.
True Brownstone, Blackstreet, I'd say 112, Jagged Edge. I mean, it was
702,
Escape. Oh gosh, there was Jay. I mean, there was so many.
Unreal.
Yo, back in the 90s, it was so in the early 2000s, so many groups.
Now, here's where the problem came in that nobody saw coming. So hip hop was kind of getting mad at them, right? So hip hop was like, oh well, and what come along that nobody saw happen? Boom. They took R&B and hip hop and put them together.
Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, Bone did it, right? See, Bone. CC. You messing up the game. Yeah. You messing up the game, CC. I see what you're doing. But that's literally what they started to do. They was like, yo, we could be. I had a person on here today. It wasn't today. You know, matter of fact, her interview dropped today as well, Hendrix. But we talked about that same thing. Rappers now wanting to be singers. And I was like, we don't need y'all no more. Y'all go ahead. There's too many of y'all anyway. We are just going to sit over here and we're going to now sing and rap ourselves.
And it's funny because a lot of people don't want to give homage to those guys that created that. And if you think about it, right after them, there was another group that came that was, I still listen to them to the day, and I still do not know why folks didn't understand how deep they are. Like, you listen to their music now. If you put out their album right now, their second album, I think it was called Blissful something, PM Dawn.
Oh my goodness.
That second album that they had, dude, when they mixed that whole Night and Day remix from
Die Without You?
Oh gosh, come on now. They mix Michael, what's it, George Michaels, and turn it into a whole other cut. I mean, these guys was unreal on their sample game, they singing game, they production game. I was like, I'd never seen a group that cold. Yeah. And I mean, but they mixed it so well. And I'm like, as I'm listening to some of that stuff now, I'm like, uh-oh, that's going to come back.
Yep.
And when it comes back, it's going to come back hard. And then when it happens, it's groups that aren't paying attention. Either you're going to have to adapt or you get knocked out.
That's right. And that's kind of what happened to a lot of people. They did not adapt to the change that was taking place, and they got kind of left out.
So this is where we're at right now. And I remember Michael Jackson talking about that in an interview. He said every 10 years, just want a chance.
Yo, so speaking of that, I'm going to go into my little book collection now.
I love it.
There's a book called The Song Machine.
Ooh.
Oh, man. If you have not read this book, you need to read The Song Machine, because it talks about that every 10 years. And it talks about how music always is cyclical. It'll look like it'll start here and it'll always work itself back to where it is. Even from a songwriting perspective, it'll work itself. Yo, so this book right here, get it.
So imagine what you just broke down. I'm gonna show you 2 examples of how that worked to its fullest. There was a song that came out, was it early 60s? That song, Stand By Me.
Yeah.
Stand By Me was a very big hit for Benny King. And of course, he owned the publishing things to it. And, at this point, remember, he was scrubbing floors. He was working as a janitor. He was broke. And Rob Reiner and them put out the movie, Stand By Me, and they re-released the song. And it made him a multi-millionaire.
He's like...
And he hasn't worked another day in his life from that movie. I was like, that's crazy. But I'm going to show you something even deeper of somebody who was so smart on their branding, which is why I teach people about branding, copyrights, everything you do as far as your music or your artistry. The guy who put out the song American Pie, it was Bye Bye Miss American Pie, remember that song? Well, that song,
to the levee, with the levee
that song was not even in the movie, but he owns the trademark to American Pie. They had to pay him X amount of money and royalties for the name American Pie, to the point that they started changing the names of the movies to American Wedding, so they couldn't have to pay him anymore. They said, we gonna get this dude out of this. Like we ain't paying him another dime for this. Because the movies was super successful, but they had to pay him a certain amount just for the word American Pie. And the song was never in the movie.
Wow.
But that shows you how good your branding gotta be. Like, they gotta pay you for the name of your song. Not even music.
Wow.
No music in the movie whatsoever. Most people try to get their stuff in TV, film, placements. Yeah. This dude didn't get a placement. He got the words. That's gangster.
The words American Pie.
The words American Pie.
He's like, y'all gonna pay me? But, people do that today. They try to, buy .coms that they feel other organizations may want, and they just eat them up. And then they say, when another company goes to look for that domain and say, I want, let's say WeCreateMusic.com, which actually was not available when I went to go register, which is why we ended up, and I thought about, it's not a like a company. It's really TV. So I ended up paying the extra, however much it was, man.
Wow.
For the TV versus the .com, which was cool. But what they'll do is that they'll buy all these .coms, and then they'll tell these organizations, well, we have your .com, but you need to pay us $50,000.
Like what Master P did in New York. Because remember, Master P owns NYNY. Yeah.
So you got to figure out, you got to play this. This whole thing is a game that you got to figure out how to play and maneuver within to make what you do so that it can reap benefits and rewards for yourself. Man, that's crazy.
Yeah,
crazy.
And that's the main thing when it comes to teaching people their business and their branding, is to teach them to think outside the box. Teach them to, if you're at an event, okay, how you have your shirt, that's probably the best branding I've ever seen. When I used to go to the conferences, when I first got to Dynamic Producer, I learned that there's multiple things you should do to brand yourself.
Oh, yeah.
And there was a team of guys that were from the Bahamas. It was 5 of them. They were called Bahama Beats. And they would walk in with these shirts that would say Bahama Beats. And each one would have a different color shirt on. Some would have a baseball cap. Some would have bandanas. They would come in with a bag. And it'd be a gift bag that they would give to the A&Rs. That bag would have a balloon in it, a water bottle, a notepad, their CD. They would have everything about them. And they had this thing that they would do called Cool. when they would come in. When they would
Like
walk
cool
in,
runners?
they would just say, cool, cool. So when they come in, everybody started saying that word when they would show up to the event. And I was like, oh, these guys got a word that people say. They got the shirt. They got the branding. You know, people was like, I seen A&Rs literally almost be in tears if they didn't get a shirt from them. Like, man, I was gonna hook you up with a placement, man. You ain't give me no shirt. I used to laugh at that stuff. Like, wow, you know, people really get offended by that. But their branding was that good. And that's when I started noticing when you go to events, you know, brand yourself, have your shirts, have your website, your Instagram, your Twitter on your. But a lot of folks don't know how to do that. A lot of folks think if I just put my music up on Instagram, if I put it on Twitter, I'm good. They don't understand. You still got to go out here and let people see you.
But that goes back to what you said earlier. Old school rules with new school tools. Right? There are still things that you need to do within the industry. And I don't know how many times we got to say this, but networking is a huge part of what we do. Branding is a huge part of what we do. You got to get out. You got to meet people. That was the reason why I moved to Atlanta from St. Louis, because in St. Louis, there was no opportunities to network, right? I mean, we didn't even really have a music school until Nelly opened up the music EI.
Oh.
And I was like one of the first students. Me and another one of my homies, we were the first students really of that school. And I learned engineering. I don't engineer today though. Don't ask me to do none of that. But it just goes back to, and I met a lot of people there. I met Nelly there. I met all of the St. Lunatics there. I met Chingy. I met a whole bunch of people from a St. Louis perspective, but there really wasn't any networking opportunities, and there really still isn't today. Which I'm like, man, I gotta get out of here.
That's the Midwest.
I gotta get out of here. Like, I need to go to a place where there is actual music. And so what I didn't like was every time I would come down to Atlanta, I always had to remind people who I was, because I want to see them for like 6 months until like A3C. And then I'm like, hey, what's good? You know, my name is, of course, back then it was Strict 9. And they say, hey, my name is Strict 9. Oh, no, I'm from blah, blah. And they would go, yeah, I remember you. And I was like, you know what? I can't just have you. I just need you to know that's who I am. So branding is a huge part. That's why we wear the shirts. That's why we have the logo everywhere. That's why it's on the business cards. That's why it's everywhere.
Well, it's funny that you talk about networking. One of the things that I've learned, and one of the things I also teach, is most, I hate to say it, most producers, songwriters, artists not as much, but producers and songwriters are introverts. So they don't like to talk to people. They like to make the music. They like to say, I like the music to speak for itself.
Right.
And that's what the biggest problem is with networking. That's what we kind of teach people how to break out of that introvertedness. And I give people a simple term. I'm quite sure you know about Batman. But you ever think that Batman is an extrovert? Bruce Wayne is an introvert.
No, yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Bruce Wayne really is.
Bruce Wayne always stand up in the mansions, and what does the butler already tell him? You need to get out. You need to go out and do it in the streets more.
Go on a date.
Go on a date. He doesn't want to do it. You know, he runs his business, but he's an introvert. But when he puts on that Batman suit, he'll break your arm. He'll throw you off the building.
He don't care.
He don't care.
Well, the old Batman didn't.
But so the thing is like,
Well, I don't know.
I teach people that if you're going to be in the streets, become Batman in the streets, Bruce Wayne at home.
Come Batman in the streets. That's somebody logo. Yo, hey, what you do, man? I'm Batman in the streets, but Bruce Wayne at home. I'm like, what?
Well, think about this. When we go out, when we all first met, we were just all friendly cats when I met you guys out in LA. But one of the things about networking that most people don't know how to do is they're so busy wanting to tell the people everything they do, they don't understand. Like you read books. I'm quite sure you wrote the How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Yeah. Napoleon Hill. No, I was thinking Grow Rich. But yes, I have read it. I just don't remember the author.
Yeah. Dale Carnegie.
Dale Carnegie. Yeah.
So one of the things about that book is he always said, you know, ask somebody their name, repeat their name, you know, say it 3 times, blah, blah, blah. Right. Well, one of the things is they said, now, most people don't care what you know, is they know that you care.
That's right. Well,
the tricks in networking that I teach people that's very simple is when you go somewhere, say something very simple. Hi, my name is Jeff. I do music. What do you do?
No, don't give the secrets away yet. Hold up. Save the secrets for save the secrets. Wait a minute. Wait.
No, don't get that too late.
Save the secrets. I got a series that is coming about networking and branding. I mean, we can talk about how you go through your introduction, your elevator pitch.
Gotcha.
Right? So we'll get that to you. right? I mean, we're gonna give you all the keys anyway, right?
wow.
I'm just joking as far as, don't give away the keys. But there is a process too, and I am gonna do a video on that entire. It's gonna be a 3-part series on networking at music events. But please give them exactly what they need to know as far as how they can introduce themselves and start themselves off.
That's a okay. I like what you're gonna do there. That's gonna be nice. No, but it's like when you go to these events, you know, like when we were out in LA, we were at a place that had producers, songwriters, artists, videographers, photographers. So this is a thing to make you the plug in the room. So one of the problems that most people do is they're so busy trying to see what can I do to make money off of everything in the room versus if you make enough connects in the room, money comes back to you. So take money out of the equation. So it's like that whole rich dad, poor dad. What would you do for free? You know, so when you're in a room, I always say, hi, my name is Jeff. I do music. What do you do? And now when you meet somebody, they're going to give you 3 different things that'll happen. First person you meet is going to be like, hey, I do music too. Great. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you know, let's build whatever. So you're talking to the person. So what do you do? Let them babble. Don't you babble. Let them like, hey, you know, I got a CD coming out. I got a thing, blah, 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 blah. Here's my Instagram, blah, blah, blah. You know, take the number. All right, I got to build. All right, cool. You know what I'm saying? And you'll find out, okay, I'm a producer, I'm a songwriter, I'm an artist. You go to the next person, hey, what do you do? Hey, I'm just here with somebody. Great, can you introduce me?
I'm here with somebody. Great, who are they? I would like to meet them. Yeah, that's right.
The other one you meet is, oh, I don't do anything, you know, I'm just here, you know, or not a problem, you know, just keep it moving. But if you're in the room, you'll get to meet a lot of different people, models, artists, videographers, photographers. If you pay attention to everybody you met, now you become a plug. So now I'm in the room, I know that I just met a model. Over here is a videographer. Hey, John.
Oh, man, I know. Yeah, look.
Oh, you're a dope songwriter. Hey, you said you were looking for a dope producer. Hey, such and such, come here, let me introduce you to such and such. And before you know it, everybody in the room thinking that you are the like, oh my God, man, you know everybody. No, I
got that. People. I got that when we were in LA that time.
Y'all watched me do that?
I got that. I was watching you do that. And then every time I would meet a person, and you know, the whole crew was there, and every time I would meet a person, and I would go, oh, you from Florida? Yo, you need to connect with this person. They're like, how do you know all these people? But it goes back to going to all these music conferences. I've been to music conferences in Florida, LA, Atlanta. I mean, you name it, I try to go to as many as possible, but that is something that is critically important, is that you do kind of become a plug because you meet so many people at so many different places that you can start to make those connections with others.
Another thing, I come from a very spiritual background, and I've always been told that if I have something that I don't share, you'll get punished for it. So if I'm in a room and I know this person over here is a dope songwriter, and I don't tell them, and I'm so busy wondering, well, am I going to get credit for this? Am I going to get a percentage of that? Versus, let me just hook this person and introduce them up. Because there's a lot of people that I've hooked up like that. Matter of fact, I don't know if you remember when we were out there in LA, there was somebody that ran up on me, and they hadn't seen me in 2 years. It was a person who did that same thing for at A3C. I introduced them to somebody. We were doing these interviews like you're doing. And I introduced them, and they were able to do this interview with, we were in a room with Pharaoh Munch and all these others. And they were able to build with them and things like this. That person remembered me 2 years later and wound up giving me a ticket to one of those events out there in LA because I took care of them. I think it was like $500 to get into the thing. And they was like, oh, you took care of me? I'm going to watch out for you. Holler at me at the door, I got you. I was like,
that's right.
And I had totally forgot who this person was. I hadn't seen this person in 2 years.
But they remembered
everything I did for them just because of that one introduction. Right. And I always say, you play it forward. It ain't always about what I'm going to get from this.
But see, that goes back to something that I've learned a long time ago in a course that I used to teach a long time ago called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And in that course, we talked about 2 different mindsets, the scarcity mindset and the abundance mindset. And a lot of people today in the music industry operate from a scarcity mindset. The pie is only so big, and if the more you get, the less there is for me. So I can't let you get a piece of this pie at all, because if I do, you may become successful. You may be the person that gets the next placement, that gets the next hit, that gets the next whatever it may be. And where am I?
Now, it's funny you say that. You know, I also run a beat battle here,
Yeah.
a beat royale.
Yeah.
Now, the funniest thing about when I came here, the beat battle that we do here is an offshoot of our conferences that we were doing, the Dynamic Producer Conferences, the Dynamcons, the different things we did in LA, New York, and here in Atlanta. But there were other beat battle organizations here. So one of the things that I did before we started doing our battles is I went to every battle organization and introduced myself. I met the promoters. I went to everyone, to Jazz's battle. She does the ATL battle. I met Rachel, who does IB Daily. You know, of course, you know, I knew Jay Hatch, you know, from High Standard. I met Ty and them through Dynamic Producer that do the producer swap meets, which is now their finger beat battle. And I went to all of them and said, hey, I respect all you guys. I've watched all you guys. I'm a fan of you guys. Let's keep a synergy going. And that's exactly what happened. Think about it. That's 5 battles and showcases in the city that all are cool with each other, and none of us are considered stepping on each other's toes. Right. We go to each other's events, and you notice that we all shout each other out on the stage as soon as we see the other promoters in the room. Atlanta's the only place I've ever seen that does that, where you can have another battle organization, and it's not about, oh, you're taking away from me, that we can shout you out, and we can bring you up on stage, we can show mad love, and because our whole thing was Atlanta versus everybody else when it came to the battles. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know, like, we wanted to keep that synergy going and still keep it going to the day. That's how it works here, you know, when it comes to those battles.
Yeah, so I mean, I would encourage any and everybody to learn how to develop an abundance mentality, because I mean, it is prevalent. I mean, all the things you know are things that I've gone to and seen, and an abundance mentality will carry you to places where you never thought you were able to go, and put you in situations and in rooms just because you're trying to take care of the next person.
With that course you're in, I'm quite sure they were teaching the level of influence and level of concern.
Yeah, of course. Circle of influence, circle of concern. Yes.
Because that was one of the things when I read that book that I learned that a lot of times. That's another thing I teach people as far as their branding, is that you have a level of influence, a level of concern, and that's one of the things that can make you go to certain levels. Because, you know, we so busy focusing over this, things you can't change and things that you can change. You know, things that are in your environment versus things that are outside of your environment. So,
that's right.
I don't know. They still.
See, look at that. Y'all don't even. Oh, what?
Yeah.
Of course. This is 20. They already released the 25th. I mean, you know, we can talk about 7 Habits of Highly Effective. No, we are. Go get that book, because that book will change your life in the way that you approach all types of stuff. But yes, the book is still out. It is still probably one of the best-selling books on personal productivity and development that exists today. I feel like I'm doing a LinkedIn like commercial. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, please look at the 7 Habits of Highly Effective. Right. So, but yeah, it's a great book. But no, you're right. A lot of people tend to focus on their circle of concern more than they do their circle of influence. Which, if we focus more on the circle of influence, then we have the ability to really, really move the needle in areas that we probably wouldn't if we were still stuck in this circle of concern. Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about challenges within the music industry. What were some of the challenges that you faced early on in just getting to the level that you are today?
Well, one of the biggest challenges, I think, is that, and it's still funny, is that everybody will not like you.
They won't?
Yeah, that was the problem that I had, you know, because I'm a guy that I like to be cool with everybody.
Yeah, me too.
You know, I like to, you know, I don't take anything personal, but then I'm very observant of things. And one of the things that I didn't understand is that everybody don't like you, you know, or everybody won't like you. Or, let me rephrase that, sometimes don't take everything as people don't like you or don't want to mess with you. Sometimes it's not right now. And that's the problem that a lot of producers, songwriters, artists deal with, is they think that because they make some music and they've got it to this A&R, this manager, this label, that nobody's rocking with them. And they're on Instagram and Twitter complaining, nobody rocks with me, hooping and hollering. And what they don't understand is there was an A&R that I would see at every event. I would shake his hand, I was nice to him and everything. He wouldn't mess with me for nothing. And one day we were at some listening session and he saw me. He said, you know what, man, I am so sorry. He said, I've been seeing you for like 2 years and you always got a smile on your face. You've never been upset with me that one time. Not emails, no nothing. He says, man, send me some stuff. And me and him been tight like this ever since. And I found out that sometimes it's all about people seeing you, like you said, conferences, conventions. Sometimes it's just you just being persistent. And because
I know, man.
Brian Michael Cox says something to me every time he sees
Yes.
me, and he cracks me up when he says it. He says, everybody has their time. He says, and he'll see me, he'll be like, man, your season coming, bro. I'll be laughing when I see it. He'd be like, I'm watching you. I'm like, and it's just, but he always said that. He says, man, watch. He says, watch people. He says, because people that you may think is this intern over here, this person over in the corner. He said, they can wind up being the VPs. He says, people are not paying attention. He says, you got to be careful who you treat.
That's right.
And how you treat people. My father always said, you never know who's going to bring you a glass of water on your deathbed.
That's right.
So,
Man,
that's
I like that
the
advice.
one thing that I had to learn in the industry is don't take everything personal. Don't take anything personal. Just keep it moving all the time. Just keep going. Like, you have to be like these, what's those horses? You got to be like this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? No matter what goes on, don't take it personal. If you see somebody, just chalk it up. Okay, I'll see that person later.
That's right.
Okay, I'll see him later. Okay, no problem.
Man, yeah, look, that's a key. I'm telling y'all, that's a key lesson in that message. I saw there was a dude that I met. I'm not gonna say his name, but you know the situation because you were there because you introduced me to the dude.
I know you're talking about.
Right, you introduced me to him, and he gave me some weird thing. And if you watch this interview, you know I'm talking about you. But but the point is that he saw me for that week every night.
Wow.
We were in different places. And he saw me every single night. And he was like, okay, this must be a connection that is meant to be made because I am seeing you he saw me at the one event that we were at.
Okay.
And when you introduced me to him. And then the next night he saw me at a beat battle. The next night he saw me at another meeting. The next night was at another meeting. He was like, and we've been tight ever since. Ever since. But you can't just be like, oh, nobody's gonna rock with me because, okay, he saw me that night, I told him what I did, but, oh, you're a producer, man, like, so they not rocking with me, so I'm just gonna go on Instagram and blast people, or Twitter and blast people, and that gets you absolutely nowhere. Because people see that and they go, So it's kind of like in corporate America, right? So when people go for interviews and they don't get the job, it's not necessarily sometimes they don't get the job, that they're not the right person for the job, is that sometimes I'm telling y'all, sometimes it's a test, all right? And so if we're looking for, because as a senior manager that works in corporate America, we are looking for things that, how you respond and how you react. Okay, I may come in back and tell you, hey, unfortunately, Jeff, you didn't get the position. Now, how you respond to that is going to tell me if you're really ready for that position or not.
Wow.
And so you may go back, man, get that dude. He don't know what he's talking about. He could have hired the best person. That tells me you weren't ready for the position. But if you come back to me and say, Brian, thank you very much for letting me know that I was not selected for the position. What can I do to better myself? So the next time around, my skill set can be at where it needs to be. And I'll go, that's exactly what I wanted you to respond with. I'll come back and say, you know what? We made a decision. We're going to give the job to you. It is all about how you respond to those things.
It's very interesting that you put it like that because it's funny as you talking about that scenario. I can't help but laugh because I knew what you was talking about. I was like, oh gosh, that's funny because we all go through those kind of scenarios. But it's one of those, like you said, you have to make yourself undeniable. That's one of the problems a lot of people do. Is we'll do some things just good enough. We're at a point now, that's what I've said about the new school rules, old school rules with new school tools, but also with the music. You need to make yourself very undeniable. There's no excuse not to be great. Too many people are trying to be good. They'll hear stuff on the radio and they want to be just like what they heard on the radio. Don't be what's on the radio. Don't be good.
Right.
Be great. Let's be legendary. Let's be that every time somebody puts on a song, that they hear that song over and over again. Okay, the thing like I was talking about with B.B. King's Stand By Me. Now let's get in deeper. Let's get into just songwriting in general. Most people don't understand. What if you just made great songs, but you were able to translate those songs to multiple genres? You remember the song from All From One that I Swear?
Yeah.
Remember that was released like 9 different times. it got to the point that it was released as a country song, a dubstep song. And Babyface is sitting there going,
I'm gonna get these chips.
him and David Foster are doing this right now, loving that. But one of the greatest songs ever, and it took me years, and I didn't realize that it was a gospel song. Do you remember the song "Lord Lift Us Up Where We Belong" from the Winans?
Yeah.
Remember, that was a gospel song in the early '80s.
Mm-hmm.
But what happened 2 years later? Offers a Gentleman came out, and Joe Cocker took it and turned it into "Love Lift Us Up Where We Belong."
Mm-hmm.
The Winans was like, okay,
I'm gonna get this money.
I'm about to get this money. This is a gospel song, but it was a good song.
Mm-hmm.
So what a lot of us are doing is we're so busy making the moments, not realizing, what if I made a good song that could be translated into gospel, country, jazz, dubstep, let's start going into the slam poetry things, you know what I'm saying? Let's keep it going in so many different ways. Look at it outside the box. Let's not say, okay, this is a genre that I'm making. Let's make a song.
Right.
And that's where we need to get back to.
Sure.
And that's what, so when it comes to the networking, when it comes to out there, make yourself undeniable that if somebody sees you enough that it gets to a point where they don't want to feel like they're about to miss out on something by not signing you. Think about all the people that didn't sign Wu-Tang, that let Loud or Ruckus and the little small labels get them, and probably it's like, dang, we had them and we said no. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, that's true.
How many people can look back and say no, and like, think about the people who didn't sign NWA. You know what I'm saying? They like, goodness gracious, what were we thinking? You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, there's always that one person. Best example of somebody messing up an opportunity.
Look, I talked to somebody about that a couple of days ago on an interview that I did. Matter of fact, it was Nick Fury. I talked about Nick and his the little Flip Game Over track that he produced, and how he sent that track to everybody, and nobody wanted it, and they were like, "Nah, we good." Gave it a Little Flip. It turned to be Lil Flip's biggest song, and I asked him. I said, "What did the people that passed over that song think about the song now?" He was like, "Oh man, they were like, oh man, I was gonna do that song, but or hey, you just should have gave me a couple more times." It's like, you pass it over.
Pharrell said the same thing about "Drop It Like It's Hot." Remember all those beats? He said that "Drop It Like It's Hot" to Snoop, and everybody's like, "Oh man, I was gonna get on the beat." He's like, "Yeah, all right, whatever."
Yeah, right. Yeah. Okay, sure. Even Blackstreet didn't want to do "No Diggity."
Oh wow.
Teddy Riley had to convince the rest of the crew. He was like, "Nah, man, y'all crazy. This is gonna be a hit." They were like, "Nah, we don't want to do this," and it turned out to be
the
smash hit of the year. They were like, "Wait a minute." So the key lesson in that is just make amazing music and allow that music to live in the areas that it needs to live in. You know what I'm saying? Like, make great music. And there's a book. I'm plugging books today.
No wrong.
I guess today is book plug day.
Yeah, for real. Well, it all ties back in.
So there's a book out there called From Good to Great by Jim Collins. Gotta read it. You want to go from good, just being just good, to great, get that book. I mean, it talks about from an organizational perspective, but there are things you can take out of that and apply to your, musicality and things like that. So, all right, so Jeff, let me ask you, your top 3 things that you would give music producers, artists, songwriters, your advice, top 3 things you would tell them that they need to do to make it in this industry.
One thing is opportunity. Look at everything as opportunity. Keep your ear to the ground for opportunity. Because you never know what is your opportunity. So many people look at it from the point of view of being an artist, but you might be able to get in the door as a songwriter. You might be able to get in the door as a DJ. You might be able to get in the door, just being the intern, bringing the coffee to people. But now you're in the room and you're able to meet the people. You know what I'm saying? Don't knock an opportunity. I was told that you only get 2 great opportunities in life. You never know if it's your first one or if it's your last. Most people ignore great opportunities because it's disguised as hard work.
Disguised as hard work, that's right.
So that's why I'm always saying never miss an opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Because opportunity will knock, but it won't beat your door down. So you never know. So always go for the opportunity. Also have no fear factor. You know what I mean? Because one of the things that people do is that we want to be so good, but sometimes we're scared. We're scared to leave our city. We're scared to go travel. We'll come up with excuses. Somebody will give you the thing and go, and you'll tell them exactly why you can't do it after they just give you the keys to do it. So you got to eliminate fear.
Yeah.
You know, because they said fear is evidence of things appearing real.
Yeah.
So eliminate fear and be dogmatic in that. Another thing is be humble. Don't be a jerk about things. Like you said, oh, they're not messing with me. Oh, I'm all on Twitter, blah blah blah. It's because we had a thing right now where we got to get it out of our head. Sometimes you just got to learn how to just woosah and just keep moving.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Lord, I'm gonna give this to you. You know what I'm saying? Because all fights are not our fight, and that's what we don't understand. Sometimes we think that we're supposed to do all fights. We're not.
Yeah.
Some of these fights are not yours. Some of those you just got to like bite your tongue and walk off about it and laugh.
And keep it moving.
And keep it moving. And that's the one thing. I learned from a good friend of mine, a guy by the name of LT producer, did a lot of stuff for Ludacris. He's one of the most keep it moving dudes I've ever met in my life. Like, all right, let's keep it moving. Like nothing. Like,
keep it moving.
Like he'll just keep moving in a minute. I learned that. I said, okay, I gotta stay on that kind of mentality. And that's the way you gotta be. You gotta be on the keep it moving on so many levels. Keep it moving with your family. But also don't be so about the business that you forget what we're in this business for. Family, God first, family second, business third. Gotta be focused on that. And I'm not telling anybody about how to be spiritual. I don't care about, God, Allah. I'm not doing all that. But I'm just saying you have to find some type of spirituality because in this, it'll be so many things that'll take you away. And in this business, that'll make people do very dumb things. Alcohol, drugs. How many times we watched those Unsung? You see him at the height of this. And then the thing is, well, we don't know how he got into this dope. We don't know how he got into alcoholism.
He just ain't falling into it. It's a pattern. And people never recognize the pattern. But people do recognize the pattern. But because the person is this person, it's like, well, I really can't tell this person what to do or not do with their life, so I'm not going to say anything to them. I'm just going to watch their downfall, right? And I don't think that in any way is productive or helpful in any kind of way. If you see somebody going down the wrong path, you need to jump in, especially if it's your boy, your girl, whatever it may be, and say, hey, you need to slow your roll. But a lot of people don't do that today.
A lot of it is because, like I said, a lot of people don't have a balance of spirituality, and also having some real friends around you. A real friend is going to tell you like it is, and it is because I remember the story of Jim Brown. Remember the story when Jim Brown saw Richard Pryor and he was doing crack, and he was like, what you going to do with your life? And he's like, well, I'm about to do this crack. He was like, well, you must not want to be my friend. And was just real with him. He says, put it down like God. He said, what was I going to say to Jim Brown? And I mean, you got friends that will tell you that. They don't care how much money you got. You don't care you got millions. You know what I'm saying? You act like a jerk. You know what I'm saying? Nobody else. Real
friends will keep it real, no matter what. No matter if you're high, low, no matter what, we're gonna keep it real all day.
That was the best part about that movie, Bohemian Rhapsody.
I love Bohemian. That was a great movie.
When they all got in that room and they kind of just let him have it, let Freddie Mercury have it, and then they made him go out of the room. They said, we need to go talk.
They were like, he was out the room. He was like,
what you do that for? He said,
just because we can. He was out there like, oh, are they gonna? And the friends were just like, okay, yeah, we'll do it.
And they knew that they was going to forgive him, but they let him go out of the room just to mess with him because they was his boys. You know, it was like they go outside for a minute. We got to talk.
Yeah, I love my dudes, man. he know. I mean, the syndicate. You know what I'm saying? I love all y'all dudes, man, because we keep it real with one another all the time. Like, we're gonna tell you what's the real deal.
Yeah, but having real friends.
Real friends.
Because, I mean, of course, you're going to have people that you associate with this business, and there's going to be people that you're going to become good friends with in this business. And there's some people you just have to kind of just keep your eye on this business. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing. But having people that are, day ones, that really know you, but also want to see not just you good in this business, but you good in life. And that's the main thing. It's like, one of the biggest problems right now, and I will say this, is health. Like, I don't know if you remember, I don't know if I told you, I think I told you about it a year ago, I was in the hospital because I had I was out here in the streets so much that I wasn't taking care of myself. So I had to get myself back to the way I was, you know, going back to a vegan lifestyle, eating better. You know, I got some friends right now that are going through some things. You know, we're older. So a lot of times we'll go out here doing this business so much that we forget to take care of ourselves. And health is wealth.
Health is
You know what I'm
wealth.
saying? So what was that? Somebody told me a long time ago, you want to be whole and healthy. Healthy becomes wealthy.
Yep.
And I said,
I like that.
okay, I got to remember that. He says, you know, you got to be whole and healthy. I said, okay, I'm going to go ahead and start focusing on that, you know. And so that's what we got to do. We got to be so about our health. We got to be about our spirituality. We got to be about our physical, not just so much on the money and the business and the placements, but on keeping our temple clean. Keeping our spirituality clean, our energy clean. Be around people with great energy, because energy vibes. Like when we met, we all just
we just connected. Like
it was like you thought we were brothers when we all met. You know what I'm saying? And it was funny because I knew Ricardo, and it was like Ricardo was like, "Hey," and it was just like we all just gravitated like that, just like, and we just all think about it. We all hung that whole event. At just meeting that Friday night.
Yep.
That was crazy.
It was crazy. but that's the chemistry and synergy that it takes really to build those effective relationships. That's right. So Jeff, tell everybody where they can find you, man.
You can find me definitely on Facebook. It's real easy. Jeff Blactracks. So it's BLACTRACKS Blackwell. That's also my Twitter, my Instagram, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, whatever it's at Jeff Black. BLACTRACKS. You can find me on there, also on dynamicproducer.com. Also on the website Beat Royale, because that's also our beat battle site. And we do another thing called the Creators Retreat, where producers, songwriters, artists can come in and pitch their music directly to the supervisors. And you bring your equipment and set up and things like this. So we wanted to create like a boot camp for them too. So we have those things going on.
Nice.
So it's always some way to build relationships and build that synergy, you know.
So check it out, dynamicproducer.com.
Dynamicproducer.com.
Man, they got a lot of things going on. I think y'all really need to get involved with your producer.
And we're gonna go out like power. I'm gonna keep you. I'm gonna give you the heads up. We're gonna do the last Beat Royale, the finale of all Beat Royales. We're gonna do it in November. So
Are you gonna have all past champions come back and they all compete?
I'm gonna keep it kind of tight-lipped and what I got up my sleeve. But I'm like I said, we're gonna go out like power. So we're gonna do something really stupid. You know, kind of maybe even like the CW's doing that that thing where they're gonna bring every superhero
back.
So
every episode.
I got some craziness up my sleeve. You know, you've been to my Beat Royals. I try to make them haywire.
Man, Jeff, it's been a pleasure, brother.
As always, I was so appreciative. I'm so appreciative that you brought me here. This is an incredible form, an incredible thing. Like I said, I've been proud of you. When you told me about it, I was like, oh no, I gotta be there. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate you for doing this for the creatives and putting that information out there for them to gravitate to. You know, this is what they need.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's been an amazing episode. Thank you for tuning in to We Create Music, and we will see you next Saturday, 10 a.m., WeCreateMusic.tv.